Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, the 9th of February, and these are the answers to the Multiply by 3 worksheet. We will start with number 5. So the question says, here are some digit cards. There's 3 of them. We have a 3, a 5, and a 6. And we're going to use those cards to create a multiplication and work out the answer. Right, I'm going to start by putting 1 digit in each of these boxes. So I've got 3 times 5 times 6, and I've got to work out the answer. Well, 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 times 6, I know, is 90. Okay, I worked that out. 15 times 6. The way I did it was I did 10 times 6, and I added 5 times 6. 10 times 6 is 60, 5 times 6 is 30, so my total, if I added those two together, would be 90. Okay, so it now says, how many different multiplications can you create? Well, all we need to do is rearrange those numbers. So I could have 3 times 6 times 5. I could start with the 5 and have 5 times 3 times 6. I could start with the 5 and have 5 times 6 times 3. I could start with the 6 and have 6 times 3 times 5, or 6 times 5 times 3. So there's lots of different solutions, and it says, what do you notice about your answers? Well, I've noticed that they're all the same. That's right, because here I've got 6 times 5, which is 30, times that by 3, and I get 90. Okay, here I have 5 times 6, which once again is 30, multiply that by 3, which is 90. Here I have 5 times 3, which is 15, multiply that by 6, which is 90. So because of the law of commutativity, our answer will always be 90. Okay, let's put in boxes in arrays of 2 times 3. We can see that very clearly in our diagram. Danny buys 12 boxes. How many eggs does she buy altogether? Okay, so we know that there are 6 eggs in one box. She buys 12 boxes, which is 12 times 6, which is, that's right, 72. Let's move on to the second part of the question. She now buys 5 more boxes. How many eggs does she have now? Right, well, we've got the 72 already, and now she buys another 5 lots of 6 eggs, which is another 30. So 72 add 30 equals 102 eggs. Let's move on. Write 30 as the product of 3 numbers. So whenever numbers are multiplied together, the answer is known as the product. So to find the product of 2 numbers, you would multiply them together. To find the product of 3 numbers, you would multiply all 3 numbers together. So we've got to work out how we can find a solution to this question. Right, I'm going to start with my first solution at the top, and I'm going to look at this fact, 3 times 10, 30. And I know that 30 is the same as 3 times 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep the 3, but I'm going to find 2 factors of 10. So I know 2 times 5 equals 10. So 3 times 2 times 5 should, if I'm right, equal 30. 5 times 2 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6, I was right. Okay, how many different ways could you write the multiplication? So basically what you need to do is find different ways of making 30. So 30 also equals 1 times 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1 times 30 is 1 times 3 times 10. That is another way of doing it. Also, I could do 1 times 30 also equals 1 times 6 times 5, because 6 times 5 equals 30. If you can find any more solutions than that, feel free to send me your answers on Dojo. Okay, here rolls 3 6-sided dice. So 6 sides. We've got the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on our dice. The product of her number is 60. What numbers could she have rolled? Okay, once again, let's explore the number 60. The easiest factors I can find are 6 times So yes, she can roll a 6. She can't roll a 10, so let's find factors of 10. We've got 2 and we've got 5. So she could have rolled a 6 and a 2 and a 5. And if we've multiplied those three together, 6 times 2 times 5, we would get 60, because 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. There are lots of other solutions. Another one I looked at was 12 times 5 equals 60. 12 it can be made up of a 3 and a 4. Okay, and a 5. So she could have rolled a 3, 4, and a 5. 12 is also made up of a 2 and a 6. So she could have rolled a 2, a 6, and a 5. But we've already got that one, haven't we? That's the same as the one we have there. Okay, the last question C says roll 3 dice and find the product of the numbers you roll. If you've got dice at home, you can roll, if you've got 3, roll 3. If you've got 1, just roll 1 at a time 3 times. Or if you haven't, ask someone to pick 3 random numbers from 1 to 6 for you and have again. Right. And we're on our last question now. In the library, there are 5 bookcases. Each bookcase has 4 shelves. On each shelf, there are 12 books. How many books are there in the library? 2 ways to answer this question. The first one is to work out how many shelves. So I've got 5 bookcases with 4 shelves. So I've got 5 times 4 equals 20 shelves. Okay, I know that each one of those shelves contains 12 books, so I need to do 20 times 12. Well, I know that 20 is 2 tens, so I've got 2 tens times 12, which is 24 tens, and we know that 24 tens is equivalent to 140. The other way, I'll change my pen colour to show you it, would have been to work out how many books there are first, and then times that by the number of bookshelves. So I have got 12 times 4 books. 12 times 4 equals 48 books on one shelf. So I've now got to do 5 times 48. And the way I would do that is I would say 40 times 5 and 8 times 5 and add them together. 8 5s are easy, that's 40. 40 is 4 tens times 5. So 4 tens times 5 is 20 tens, which is 200. So my answer again is 240. Okay, that is the end of our questions today. Our next lesson is called Factor Pairs. See you then. Bye.